Okay, so look, it's the middle of the night. Like legitimately, actually the middle of the night. It's 11:30 p.m. But I took a nap earlier today. I just sat in my chair to relax and then I slept for like 500 hours. So now it's late and I'm wide awake. I mean, wide awake might be an overstatement, but look, I never made my video today about John Carter, and we need to talk about John Carter. Y'all, John Carter? John Carter is a whole mess. Okay, so look, if you don't know who John Carter is, please allow me to explain. The other day, John Carter was sentenced to 3 years in prison, and I was like, okay, what do I care? And then I found out what John Carter did. John Carter is garbage. Garbage. This is what you need to understand. Back in, I believe it was 2011, John Carter was dating a girl. Now, look, they were both young people. She was 21 at the time of this crime. They had been dating for 6 years, which means they were high school sweethearts. Okay, that's fine. They had gotten engaged. She was an art student down at the art school someplace over in Ohio. And he was her no account boyfriend. He was, listen, in my estimation, you probably shouldn't marry the dude that you dated in high school, straight out of high school. But there are plenty of relationships that happen like that and it worked out fine. Good for you. That is not their situation. So what happened is they met as young teenagers. They dated this whole time and then they got engaged and she was in art school. She was about to graduate. She slipped the surly bonds of this earth like a day before her 22nd birthday. So she was telling all her friends, I don't like his intimate practices. I don't know what those practices were. And frankly, I don't want to know. But she didn't like them. She was very unhappy. And she was like, he's using a lot of drugs. I'm not sure what he was using. In 2011, it might have just been pot. Maybe he was using a narcotic. Maybe he was using something else. I don't know. But she was very unhappy with it. And she was thinking hard about breaking up with him. Okay, fine. And then one night she goes missing. But her keys were not there. I mean, her keys were still at home. A lot of her ID and stuff was still at home. So he called around looking for her, but he didn't just call around and be like, hey, have you seen Caitlin? He called and he was like, oh my God, Caitlin is missing. Oh, I can't believe that. Full drama. He's all on the vigil. He's on the news. He's talking to her daddy. He's like, oh, I can't believe what happened. Oh my goodness, Caitlin is missing. And the police have no good evidence. Only 11 years go by. Now, her father the whole time was like, I'm looking at John Carter. I think John Carter has something to do with it, but I'm not entirely sure. And then John Carter has this friend who goes to police and was trying to get an immunity deal or whatever and give some information on John Carter, but also the friend lies to police. And so this friend is charged with perjury, but it's all real unclear. So finally the police have enough evidence. They have like 107 pieces of evidence or something. So they're going to go to trial. They're like, we think we have enough circumstantial evidence to charge John Carter. Okay, fine. So, a couple weeks before the trial, John was like, hey, can I have these nice lawyers here. Can I talk to y'all? I want to confess. Really now, you want to confess. So he was like, I was in the middle of committing a misdemeanor and I unfortunately unalived her. Sir, where was this confession 13 years ago when you unfortunately unalived her? Oh, wait, they unfortunately unalived her and her corpse was missing for a long time. Then 2 years after she went missing, they found her in a pile of garbage and she was dismembered. And her wrist, there was some sort of damage to her wrist. I'm not entirely certain what the wrist damage was. So he was like, yeah, I'm really sorry. It's been 13 years. I'm a married man. I have children. I've gotten my whole life together. And I I think I should get probation because I did actually just confess and I saved y'all a trial. So I would like to get some nice probation and go home with my kids, please, and thank you so much. So everybody was in court the other day, and I was like, what's the story with John Carter? So John Carter's lawyers got up there, very learned lawyers. They were like, okay, Your Honor, let's just focus on the law. Let's not focus on the fact that our client is a whole garbage bag and he did some terrible, terrible things. Let's just focus on the law. And according to the law, he did confess, which we would like you to give him credit for, and we would like for you to give him community service and just probation because he has a wife and kids and his wife and kids need him. So please and thank you, Your Honor. And I was like, okay, not knowing that much about the case. And then the victim, and he was like, I have 25 witnesses who have written letters on my behalf. And so please take a look at these 25 letters. And all these 25 people say I'm a good, decent guy. So please, 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 won't you just let me go home to my wife and kids? And I was like, everything in me tells me there's another side to this story, child. The whole community is outraged. So the district attorney got up and was like, hey, judge, listen, yeah, he had 25 letters of people who support them. I have 50 letters of people who want to see you put him under the jail, and they are deeply disappointed that the maximum he can get because he confessed is only 3 years. But let me just read a little sampling of these letters. The district attorney was like, so I'm reading through these letters, and you know who he never mentioned in all of these letters? Caitlin. He refused to allocute. He refused to say exactly what happened. All he would say is that he was in the middle of committing a misdemeanor. What's a misdemeanor? Is beating up your girl a misdemeanor? So he was like, the lawyer was like, the prosecutor was like, yeah, he said he was committing a misdemeanor and he did a oopsie unaliving. But Your Honor, this is what you need to know. When we did our investigation, the trial that we were going to have, we found a whole lot of proof that he did a whole lot of things that were real, real bad. And his no account friend helped hide the corpse. And I was like, I'm going to need to know more about this case. So apparently John was in some sort of haze, not sure if it was like narcotics or mental illness or he was just a crazy person or what was going on. But he did something terrible to Caitlin because she wanted to break up with him. And then he wrote poetry about it. Poetry? He was writing poetry. He kept a journal. Now, keep a journal. Good for you. You know what you should not do? Keep a journal that details all the terrible thoughts you were having about unfortunately unaliving your girlfriend, and then the police find it. And the journal is like a conversation between him and him. Crazy. He was just like, oh, I should unfortunately unalive her. No, I shouldn't. Yes, I should. No, I shouldn't. Yes, I should. You know what I should do? I should take the keys to her heart and slit her wrist. What? Sir. Okay. And then when they found her corpse had been mutilated in such a way, number one, it had been disassembled. Number two, he had a friend that helped him. He was like, it was just me. Oops. Mr. John Carter? And this is the part that blew my mind. The father of the decedent, Caitlin Meacham, got up and he was like, look, this has been a terrible case. From day one, I suspected her boyfriend because he was garbage. She had terrible taste in men, although we loved her very much. And then her boyfriend, her fiance, not only unfortunately unalived her, disassembled her, threw her away like garbage with the help of his friends. He then started dating her best friend, married her best friend, and has several small children with her best friend. I have questions. I have questions for that wife. Listen, at the end of the day, the judge listened to everybody and sentenced John Carter to the maximum sentence allowable under the law, and that is 3 years for the unfortunate unaliving of his fiance. Is his wife filing for divorce? Mm-mm. She a better woman than me. I believe in love, honor, and cherish. Absolutely, I do. Until you get on my nerves, do us part. Listen, or until you commit a major felony. You can't commit a major felony and be my husband. You can't be suspected in a major felony. You can't be suspected in really anything. You can't be a person of interest. Listen, if you drove by a crime scene, I might give you a wide berth. She is married to this dude, and she knows that he has unfortunately unalived her best friend. What? And they got kids together? Oh, and they live in the same town they grew up in. So he had down at the Piggly Wiggly, and he runs into her father, he runs into her sister, he runs into her family members. What? You think everybody in that town is not talking? I'm talking, and I don't even live in that town. Let me live in that town. I'd be like, there she go. That dumb girl who's married to the unfortunate unalive. I wonder if she put money on his book. She probably is. Look at them kids. Look just like him. Wonder if the kids are going to be unfortunate unalivers. 2 children are innocent. But you know what I'm saying. Genetics. We don't know if it was nature or nurture that made him crazy. He unfortunately unalived this girl. Lived his life for 13 years like nothing happened. Married her best friend and had kids with her best friend. And now he's still down here to the Piggly Wiggly. And they just, buying a pork loin or whatever and some fresh vegetables, and they're like, oh, hey, how you doing? Let's go get us a case of Sprite. And then they just go on with their day. I would never get over it. Listen, if you go out with my child and my child comes home with a hangnail, I might have trouble getting over it. You unfortunately unalive my... We can't... That's a conversation we can't even have. Because... Now, I cannot do jail time. They don't serve the food that I like. Tonight, I made a chicken El Pastor. Ooh, it was delicious. They're not going to serve the food that I like. The thread count on them sheets is bad. We have covered all of this. All I'm saying is I can't go to prison. So I would have to be real crafty. I would have to not commit any crimes. But I would go after you under the law. What town they gonna move to when he gets out of jail? Because he gonna do his 3 years of prison. The judge is like, I've listened to everything, and you, sir, are a scumbag. You a lying sack of sugar. Here's the thing that blew my hair back. The prosecutor was like, I've noticed in all the letters of like, oh, he's sorry, he never mentioned Caitlin. So I called up one of the people who made a letter for him and was like, how come he never mentioned Caitlin? And one of his character witnesses or whatever was like, oh yeah, he said he didn't really do it. He was just pleading guilty so that he could get a lesser sentence. And so, yeah, he's maintaining his innocence. Really now? Okay. One of your character witnesses says you're maintaining your innocence, but you're only doing this so that you can get out of going to jail. Here's the thing. There's a thing called an Alford plea where you can go to court and say, listen, Your Honor, I didn't do this thing. I'm not going to say that I did this thing, but I see that y'all have a whole bunch of evidence over there. And so based on all the evidence you have, I'm going to go ahead and take this punishment, but I didn't really do this thing. That's not what he did. He pled guilty, which says to me he's guilty of unfortunately unalive a 21-year-old girl. John Carter, garbage. Listen, I have a distant cousin named John Carter. I also have a cousin named Carter Johns, if you can believe it. That is crazy to me. Neither one of these people are this dude. Neither one of these people are my cousin. Yes, I have family in Ohio. He is not it. So just so you know, so you do not confuse yourself, I don't know this dude. But you know what I know? He's garbage. Garbage. Straight garbage. And I'm mad about it. Now, will I be on to another case tomorrow, and will I forget about him entirely? Yes. Yes, because short attention span theater, child, that is what I do. But all of that to say, that John Carter, he's a lying sack of sugar. All right. Y'all have a good night, and I will talk to you later. Bye.